welcome to another ModFreakz installation video. Today we're going to be working with the Generation 4 or Generation 5 PlayStation controller. This is actually a Generation 5, but these shell button kits should fit both controllers. If there's any modification needing done, I'll show you how to do that. Let's go ahead and get started here. First of all, this kit comes with extra thumbsticks and a touchpad. I probably won't be using that because I believe they are the default, the same ones, but they are extra. So if this is scratched up, like you can see a little bit of marks on it, you'll have a brand new one to put on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing with this controller is just examining it for a minute. If you're unsure of your generation, you want to go to modfreakz.com/pages/PS4 models. There you will see an image with a bunch of different model numbers and generations. If you look at the back of your controller on your label, there's actually a number written right here. It starts as 4- followed by a bunch of numbers. You can take all those numbers and look on that cheat sheet on ModFreakz's website to find out what generation you have. If by any chance you're looking at that and you do not see your model number, contact ModFreakz. They will add it to the list and they will let you know what generation you have. Okay, so we're going to get started on this. The first step to the process, of course, is removing the 4 screws in the back. We'll go ahead and do that, and I may fast forward the removal of these screws like I do in all my videos. That way you don't have to watch it. Okay, now that we got the 4 screws out, let me push this stuff to the side here. I'll it's out of my way. We'll go ahead and we're going to remove the back. You take and pry on it. Pry on the bottom a little bit. The top. There we go. The back of the shell will lift right up. When you're taking this apart, be sure to disconnect this wire and note which side the copper is facing. You can see the copper ports on this side here. So we want to make sure it goes back in that direction. The other side is a blue label. It'll go towards the battery pack when we're done. We're going to go ahead and set this to the side for a second. Okay, so we'll go ahead and disconnect the battery pack. When doing so, do not pull in the wires. If you can't grab a hold of this white thing, use something to pry up on it. The white connector. You don't want to pull these wires out. So just grab a hold of that white connector and wiggle it out. Disconnect your battery. You should be able to just snap this up and off. If I'm not mistaken, there's nothing really holding it. It's just clips. No, I'm sorry. I'm mistaken. There is one screw right here. And it is holding that down. So we will go ahead and remove that screw off the board. I'm going to show you what we're doing here in a minute. Keep your back controller screws and your board screw separate so you don't mix them up. Lift this off, set it to the side. Now we've got this connector here for the touchpad. We want to gently grab this ribbon and pull up on it. If I can grab a hold of it, pull it up out of the slot and pull it back to the side so it's out of your way. You can also go ahead and, not mistaken, we can go ahead and lift this up out of here. Now that that's disconnected, just make sure that the blue ribbon goes down in. And then just pull that back up out of there. Okay, so now that this is off, be mindful of your wires for your rumble packs. You don't want to accidentally snap these or break them. There's really nothing under this board here that you need to access to, so just be careful with it and set it to the side until you're ready to until you're ready to reassemble it or put your bumpers on here and your triggers. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do those first, I think. We're going to take this clip, we're going to lift up on it, push down on the button this direction, and lift up on this. And then it should come right off. Do the other side as well. Pull right off. These ones here should just wiggle and pull out. Or you can take and put some on the side of this clip and pry one side off. It'll make it a lot easier to get the rest of it off there. Do the same to this side if you need to. I'll lose my board here. See if I can't find where I want to pry first. With that side. I'll just pry it and wiggle it off. And then we're going to grab our other ones, the ones we're putting on. Remember which side goes where. Got all 4 of them here. Now we've got our left side and our right side. See, this is the left side, so we'll go ahead and put our left one on first. These just slide down in the grooves. There's little notches here, and it slides down in this groove. And then just give it a firm press. Same as this one here. It's going to slide down, go in a groove, firm press. Okay, now for our triggers, we're going to make sure that silicone is where it belongs. Push the notches down in the grooves here. Just snap it down in there. Don't twist my. That is right. All right. Put it down over this notch here. Once it's down over there, just go ahead and snap that down. Push on it. Over this groove. Snap it down. And you can push on it. That's done. Okay. Now, these are a grayish color, whereas the ones that came with it, I believe, are black. So I'm going to go ahead and change those out, but not the touchpad, because the touchpad is the same. If you do need to change touchpad, you'll have to use a blow dryer or heat gun to warm up the glue on the touchpad circuit board to get it off properly. And you'll have to pry it up. We'll go ahead and attach the black ones on here just to give it a darker look. They just slide right down on. There's a hole in the post. And you just line it up and push it down on. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and set this to the side for a minute. We're going to grab this part. I'm going to remove all these silicones, every one of them. Even this one down here. And we're just going to dump the buttons. Just dump them in your hand, pull them off. They should all come off pretty easy. Actually missing 2 buttons somewhere. I believe they're on there, yes. Let me show you this. The select and option buttons come with the set, but the Generation 5, actually, if I'm not mistaken, these are actually part of the plastic shell now. They made it so that these aren't interchangeable. So we won't be changing those out for the gold buttons. But the Gen 4, you still can change that out. This is the Gen 5 controller, so you cannot change that out. Okay, so I got all the buttons. Push them up back here in the back. Get them out of my way. I'm going to bring my other buttons up front. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the touchpad here. We'll no longer need this shell. We'll set it to the side because we're going to use our new shell. Our new shell is a little bit different than for the Gen 5. This is not for the Gen 4. So if you have a Gen 4, you can use this exactly how it is. You don't have to change anything. So if you have a Gen 4, you can use this exactly how it is. You don't have to change anything. But if you have a Gen 5 and you want to install this shell, button kit, or any of the ModFreakz products for the Gen 4 5, you're going to have to make a few modifications to this shell, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But first I'm going to show you what's different here. If you notice, our post location, see if I can turn it sideways, is right here for this one. Then for this one, it's actually up further towards the D-pad. So this is one modification we have to change. And that's for both sides like that. So we're going to have to make an adjustment on both sides. The other one is the post here and here. They're located lower, whereas on this one, they're actually up higher right there and there. These usually come with a changeable silicone. If you have a Gen 4, you can use your silicone stuff still. If you have a Gen 5, you can use the other one that has the holes in the right direction, or sorry, in the right place. If you don't have the silicone, or if it didn't come with the kit, you can use yours, just make new holes in the center of it by pushing down with your thumbs firmly, and it will puncture the rubber there, but it'll make it fit. I've already tried it with this one. You can kind of see where in the middle it kind of cracks and stuff. So we're going to go ahead and use the one that was provided, just to make sure that it fits properly. So we'll set that to the side again. We'll go ahead and put our gold button in. The PlayStation, and we'll go ahead and put that silicone on there. And it should just slide down there nicely. If it's provided. If not, like I said, you'll have to put holes in yours and use yours. Okay, before I go too far with this, let me go ahead and show you the modification that you need to do for the Gen 5. And like I said, if you have the Gen 4, you can skip this part. So please check your generation. Do not do this if you have a Gen 4. For the Gen 5, you're going to grab this post here. It's located right below the D button. And you're going to go ahead and snap that off. Just bend it down, snap it as close as you can, and pull it off there. We're going to do the same on this side. It's the post right next to this button. Bend it down. I'm going to snap it right off there. These are just to hold the board in place. Well, actually, your whole internal guts in place. But the shell does a great job of doing that, so they're not necessarily needed, which makes it a very simple modification to perform. It's not that hard to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here now, just to get it in here and out of the way. Actually, let me change that. So I like that on the inside, not the outside. It's just my preference. Makes it easier to get it back on the board. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put our D-pad in. We'll put our silicone for the D-pad in. Both the silicones, if you don't remember which one is which, the squared off end is for your D-pad, and the curved end, the rounded end, is for your buttons. But there are little posts near your D-pad and near your buttons right here in all these little corners. You want to make sure that your silicone is pushed firmly in place so that those holes, or so those posts go inside the holes on the silicone. That's going to make it a good fit, so when you turn upside down, nothing comes out. Okay, now we're going to install our buttons. All these buttons are universal for every slot. It doesn't matter where you put them. However, if for some reason you get a button one day and you're installing it and it just does not want to go down in there, or you push the button and it feels like it's sticking, you can take and shave these notches just a little bit on the edges to get a firm fit, so that it's, to get it to fit nicely. That way it doesn't stick and it goes down into the slot easier. Do not shave the sides or the top. Make sure that's as clean as possible and only focus on the notches. And please, please do not cut these notches completely off. If you do, the button is just going to fall all the way through the controller, and there's going to be no point in having it. Just a small shaving is all you need. So we'll go ahead and drop these down in so that they fit and they drop in. You may need to spin it a little bit until it falls. There we go, they all fell down in perfectly. And now I'm going to go ahead and put the silicone back on. Hold those buttons in place. And I'm going to set this to the side for now. It's another piece sitting to the side because we have another thing we need to work on, and that's the back shell. The back shell is fairly easy. You just got to take your light bar off and the parts. So we'll go ahead and start by pulling up on the white plastic piece here. We'll set that to the side. We're going to take off if there's a piece of padding or something here, just go ahead and remove that long enough to pull this up. This pulls off. This pulls off on its own. It just falls off. There's a screw right here. We're going to remove that screw. Set it to the side. And we're going to take and pry this up from the bottom because there is tape holding it here. I pry it from the bottom and pull it out of the hole in the backing so that it comes off. Now we're done with this. We can set that to the side. We'll go ahead and grab our back shell, and we're going to reinstall all this back into the back shell. So just put it back in the same way it came out of the other one. And it should line up. Slide down in there. Make sure the hole, or the port, lines up with the hole on the back shell, and then push it inside the hole a little bit. And line these two. There's a post that comes up into the board, and then there's a screw hole. So make sure those are lined up. Put your screw on. Tighten it down. Don't tighten it too tight, just make it snug. We'll go ahead and install the light bar in there. Just snap it in the hole. We're going to go ahead and slide this where it belongs. It goes under that notch. And then it sits down inside that, on that post. Now to hold all that in place, we've got this light bar thing here. The flat part goes up against the plastic. And I believe the right side's easiest to get on first. but there's little notches that you slide it into. And then you just slide the other side. Can you see it? Little notch here. You just slide the other side down. Oh, I did it backwards, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So I want to put this left side in first. The side without that notch. Left side first. I'm going to slide it into the groove on the side. So that's where it belongs, and then I'll just let this other side just fall down into the to its spot. I'll hold that down so that I can see what I'm doing here. Into the groove. We'll get it to go in. There we go. It can be a bit tricky sometimes. There we go. Okay, so now that's on there. All right, so now all that's left to do is reassemble this. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab our internal guts, and we're going to first, let's do the front first, actually. We're going to make sure that this ribbon slides into the proper hole on the internal guts on the inside here. You want that in the center of the hole, so get that to fall down through. We'll get it to go. There we go, it went in that time. Let's see if we can get this to line up now. Would have been easier if I took the, there we go. Fell down on there. Alright, so we got that on. It just snaps down in. We'll go ahead and insert this back on. Grab the blue tab, put it in the slot, and give it a little bit of a push with your fingers. That should slide right in. Okay, let's see, we want to do our battery. So let's go ahead and put this piece back on. I'm going to slide our screw down in there. Make sure it's screwed firmly in place where it belongs. We'll go ahead and install our battery pack. When putting this on, make sure that you line the holes up correctly with the port so that they're where they belong. And then push it on with your fingers. Slide that on there. And now all we got to do now is slide the back on. To do that, remember where your connectors go. On the Gen 5, the metal connectors go towards the rumble pack, and the blue side goes towards the battery pack. I want to make sure that that is right before we slide it on. Just slide it down in there. Make sure it's firmly all the way down in, or your light bar won't work. Alright, then we go ahead and install the back. Put it down on there, push the triggers a little bit, make sure it snaps into place. Everything should fit nicely. Okay, they're all where they belong. I'll go ahead and put my screws back in. Now on new shells, the screws have never been in a hole before, so you kind of gotta, it's gonna be a little harder to screw them down, but make sure they're firm all the way down. Not too tight, you don't want to crack your shell or damage it. Looks pretty good. You got your gold. Test your buttons, make sure they press. Make sure your thumbsticks are how they need to be. Make sure that button pushes, and they do. Okay, again, make sure you check your generation with this number here. Matched up on the ModFreakz website. Let's see if I can get that to focus here so you can see this generation number. But it's right there above the Made in China. But you're going to go to modfreakz.com/pages/PS4 models to see what generation controller you have. Again, this is for the Gen 4, Gen 5 shell and buttons. This is a Gen 5 controller modified to fit the Gen 4-5 shells. The Gen 4 does not need to be modified, so please do not modify that. The Gen 5 does. And you're not modifying your stuff, you're modifying the shell, the new shell. And that's just to make it fit. But if this tutorial helps you in any way, please feel free to like, share, and comment. Leave any questions you have in the comments. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ModFreakz. And I want to thank you all for watching, and have a wonderful gaming day, guys.